All right, I thought this was interesting because it really brings death and destruction right to our shores. And I am on the East Coast, North America, up in Canada here. And a weapon from the ocean is a real threat. It's a place where a country like Iran could, float a merchant vessel over to the coast, launch a nuclear weapon, detonate it in the air a couple of miles up, a couple of kilometers up in Canadian language, and cause an EMP blast. But now we have apparent existence of a Russian Doomsday Torpedo. A key U.S. nuclear weapons document confirms the Russian government is developing the most powerful nuclear weapon in more than half a century, and it's a torpedo, which means, and they're already floating, their submarines, and not floating, sinking, I guess, piloting their submarines through international waters along the coast of countries, specifically the U.S. and Canada, by default. A leaked copy of the Pentagon's Nuclear Posture Review states that Russia is developing a new intercontinental nuclear-armed undersea autonomous torpedo. So it's a robot torpedo. The existence of the weapon known as Kanyon to the Pentagon and Ocean Multipurpose System Status 6 to Russia was first leaked by Russian television, interestingly, in November 2015. A test involving the Sarov-class submarine mothership was leaked in December 2016. The Nuclear Posture Review report, dated January 2018, lists the weapon as part of Russia's underwater nuclear arsenal. Here's a screen capture with Kanyon circled in red. Let me see if I can... Can I click on this? Let me see if I can click on this. There you see the sea-based... oh, they've exploded the view there. And I guess that is it. This looks like the countries with some sort of nuclear weapon. Nuclear modernization since 2010. As you can see there. I'll put the link in the description. You can go have a look at this image. But it goes on. Kanyon is reportedly a very long-range autonomous underwater vehicle that has a range of 6,200 miles. I believe that's basically enough to get across the Pacific Ocean from Russia. A maximum depth of 3,200 feet and a speed of 100 knots. 100 knots, according to claims in leaked Russian documents. That is fast. But what really makes Kanyon nightmare fuel is the drone torpedo's payload, a 100 megaton thermonuclear weapon. By way of comparison, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima was 16 kilotons. This is megatons, 100 megatons. So this is the equivalent of 16,000 tons of TNT. Kanyon's nuke would be equivalent to 100 million tons of TNT. Yeah, that's twice as powerful as the Tsar Bomba, the most powerful thermonuclear weapon ever tested. Dropped on New York, a 100 megaton bomb would kill 8 million people outright and injure 6 million more. Kanyon is designed to attack coastal areas, destroying cities, naval bases, and ports. The mega bomb would also generate an artificial tsunami that would surge inland, spreading radioactive contamination with the advancing water. So we have massive tsunami, all sorts of, and then you have the EMP blast on top, as part of all this. To make matters worse, there are reports that the warhead is salted with radioactive isotope cobalt-60. Contaminated areas would be off limits to humanity for 100 years. So they've almost made it a dirty bomb as well, on top of the out-of-the-box causes and troubles that come along with it. Basically, to ensure that humans won't be able to live in the area for 100 years. That's incredible, and that's dirty playing, if you want, by Russia. But I mean, in war, is anything dirty really? I mean, you're killing people. Your point is to get rid of the opponent. So I think that would do well. I mean, they could wipe out civilizations. They could wipe out whole cities and make them inhabitable for 100 years. Kanyon is designed to get around American ballistic missile defenses, which is primarily through air. Group-based interceptor missiles based in Alaska and California. This goes under the water, and it goes 100 knots. That is fast. Although GBI is meant to counter small numbers of intercontinental ballistic missiles from rogue countries such as Iran and North Korea, Russia wants to make it abundantly clear that it could still penetrate U.S. defenses even if they were scaled up to deal with larger, more powerful nuclear arsenals. Kanyon's range and payload make it much larger than existing torpedoes. Kanyon is 5.5 feet wide and 79 feet long, making it twice as large as the Bulava submarine-launched ballistic missile. Sutton also believes the torpedo is nuclear-powered. So they only got to shoot one of these, and you decimate the U.S. You take out, a fifth or a tenth of its citizens. I guess it would be just under a fifth, not a fifth, but 5%, probably 3% of the citizens, and you cause a complete area to be uninhabitable for 100 years, and you likely cause the collapse of the U.S. economy based on this absolute catastrophic destruction. The Russian Navy is testing Kanyon from Serov-class Russian Navy submarines. A unique, one-of-a-kind Serov does not have any torpedo tubes of her own, but instead carries a nuclear-armed AUV externally attached to a pressure hull. Could this be, this is the advancement of mutually assured destruction? Maybe even something like this could be the impetus. Maybe they could say, you know what, U.S., if you intervene in Israel while we're attacking Israel, we will launch this on your country. And I think that would probably make a president think twice about helping Israel. That's another scenario that we haven't thought about yet. Could Russia have something so massive that they could go to U.S. and say, we're going to strike Israel, but if you intervene, if we see you starting to intervene, we're going to launch our nuclear weapons, this new nuclear weapon, on your country. You won't know what hit you or when or how. And wouldn't that be, the self-preservation of the President of the United States may just say, well, you know what, let's just stay out of Israel, stay out of this conflict for now, to save, 6, 8 million, maybe 10 million deaths of our own countrymen. So that's a whole nother scenario that hasn't really been thought of yet, I think. This is brand new. This changes the game. This changes the nuclear game. So I'll leave there, guys. Check out the article. This is significant. This is foreboding. This is an incredible escalation in nuclear weapons around the world.